Eve's thoughts. Enter the access password and press enter. Eve's thoughts. Door opened. I went inside. Eve's thoughts. I found myself inside the kitchen and listened. Eve's thoughts. Someone was crying. Eve's thoughts. I began to walk around the kitchen to the left along the perimeter. Jeremy Jacquer, don't move. Eve's thoughts. The gas station guy pointed a gun at me. Jeremy Jacquer, I said don't move. Eve's thoughts. Christ, what was his name? Eve. Hey, Jeremy. Eve, it's me. Eve. Please don't shoot. Jeremy Jacquer, I almost mistook you for a monster. The guy had the weapon. Jeremy Jacquer, why are you stalking me? Eve, I happened to be here by accident. I was sent here by. Eve hesitated for a moment. It is not necessary to inform this psycho about the ghost. He can react unpredictably. Eve, it doesn't matter who sent me here. Something strange is happening in this town. Jeremy Jacquer, I see it myself. So, how is the search for your brother progressing? Eve, so far to no avail. Jeremy Jacquer, I can even understand you somehow. Jeremy's voice warmed up a fraction of a degree. I myself have lost a loved one not so long ago. Eve, my condolences. Jeremy Jacquer, fuck this false kindness. Eve, calm down. I didn't mean to hurt you in any way. Eve's thoughts. We both fell silent. Eve, Jeremy, what are you doing in this hospital? Jeremy Jacquer, me? The guy looked visibly confused. Jeremy Jacquer, I needed something. Medication. Eve, listen, I wanted to ask. Did you also receive an invitation to the town? Jeremy Jacquer, invitation? Eve, yes, Lakeside Amusement Park Gold Coupon. Jeremy Jacquer, what nonsense. I don't need any coupons, I work in this park. Eve? Jeremy Jacquer, I am a circus performer, we give live performances. Reluctantly told Jeremy. What business of yours? Eve, I have to get to the amusement park. My brother is there. Jeremy Jacquer, well, you need to, and think about how to do it. Eve, Jeremy, wait, the guy drew the handgun again. Jeremy Jacquer, I already warned you, Birdie, one more step, and you're dead. Jeremy Jacquer, I need to go. Jeremy Jacquer, here is the plan. Now you close your eyes and ears and slowly count to 20. Aloud, Jeremy Jacquer, if you make even a move, I'll shoot you. Is that clear? Eve, I got it. I will do everything as you say. Eve's thoughts, I will not argue with Psycho. Eve's thoughts, I knelt down and closed my eyes. In a trembling voice, Eve began the countdown. Eve's thoughts, soon everything was quiet. I risked opening my eyes. Eve's thoughts, it seems Jeremy is gone. Eve's thoughts, I got to my feet and noticed a key on the edge of the chrome surface. Notifications, you have found a generator room key. Eve's thoughts, fine. Now, to the basement. Eve stopped and looked dubiously at the refrigerator. Open the refrigerator. Eve's thoughts, warily. Notifications, you have found a Eve's thoughts, I went out. Move to the left wing. Go. Eve's thoughts, Eve's thoughts, muddy water trickled down. Eve's thoughts, hopefully, the generator. Eve's thoughts, I stepped closer and pressed the switch. Eve's thoughts, the unit hummed invitingly at low frequency. Eve, incredible. It worked. Eve, now I can get into the elevator. Go to Eve's thought. Save. Go to Eve's thoughts, I went to the elevator and impatiently pressed the call button. Eve's thoughts, the elevator arrived at the floor and opened its doors affably. Eve's thoughts, I went inside. Eve's thoughts, second floor. Here we go. Eve's thoughts, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed someone scrawling a small heart on the call panel. Eve's thoughts, okay, then let's try the third floor. Eve's thoughts, finally, the elevator began to move. Eve's thoughts, the elevator came to the floor. Eve's thoughts, oh no not this. Eve's thoughts, there was impenetrable darkness to the left and right. The siren's sound intensified. Eve's thoughts, something was lying right on the rusty pipe. Eve's thoughts, I squatted down. Notifications, you have found a rifle. It has been added to the list of available weapons. Eve's thoughts, I took a few hesitant steps forward and saw another elevator. Eve's thoughts, the elevator opened its door. Eve's thoughts, I went inside the cabin. Eve's thoughts, the walls and floor were covered in blood. I noticed the scrawled heart on the call panel. Eve's thoughts, how is this possible? I get into the same elevator. Eve's thoughts, at this time, the cabin began to move. Eve's thoughts, time passed, and I continued to descend, or ascend, into the unknown. Eve's thoughts, I counted approximately 20 floors when the elevator cabin finally froze in place and the doors flew open. Eve's thoughts, my worst fears were confirmed. Eve's thoughts, I found myself in the twisted reality of the hospital. Eve's thoughts, and it looked as dreadful as the hallways of Midwich School. Eve's thoughts, a silhouette flashed in the darkness ahead. I took a chance to come closer. Eve's thoughts, there was a dead end ahead. At the window stood a figure dressed in a white medical coat. Eve's thoughts, this time I can't be played. I drew my rifle and shouted. Eve, slowly turned to face me. And no tricks. Eve's thoughts, the doctor turned around. Eve's thoughts, He was clearly dead, like that nurse earlier. Eve's thoughts, in his hand, the doctor gripped a long blade covered with bloody spots. Eve's thoughts, suddenly, there was a strange sound. Eve's thoughts, the doctor's skull split in halves and a huge spider began to climb out of it. Eve screamed and nearly dropped her rifle. The doctor wiped the blade on his robe and confidently walked towards Eve. HP, 27. 1. Self-voicing disabled. Self-voicing enabled. Eve's thoughts, they both are died. Eve's thoughts, I came to my senses and examined the doctor's uniform. Notifications, you have found 3 health drinks. Eve's thoughts, I returned to the corridor and realized that there were no more monsters nearby. Eve's thoughts, I can start exploring the available rooms, maybe Jeremy is around here too. Eve's thoughts, I don't know what this guy has in mind, but he knows how to get to the amusement park. Eve's thoughts, looks like the rooms have changed the order in this damn place. The path to the 2nd floor is closed. Eve's thoughts, so we work with what we have. Save. Eve's thoughts, the room was empty. Eve's thoughts, I went to the table and opened the top drawer. Eve's thoughts, news note. Eve's thoughts, the horrific incident happened last weekend at Lakeside Amusement Park. During the execution of a technically difficult stunt, acrobat Jeremy Jacquer incorrectly performed support, and his partner Vincente Jacquer fell to the ground, twisting his neck. Eve's thoughts, the acrobats turned out to be twin brothers. Jeremy Jacquer was taken to Alcamilla Hospital with a heart attack right from the performance. The mournful farewell ceremony is scheduled for Thursday. Eve, poor Jeremy. Go. Eve's thoughts, no reaction. Save. Go. Eve's thoughts, on the table in the middle of the room was Eve's thoughts, in such a situation. Eve's thoughts, I rummaged through the box on the shelf to the right. Notifications, you have found. Go. Eve's thoughts, Eve's thoughts. Eve's thoughts, there was no one inside, but something gleams in the center. It looks like a key. Eve's thoughts, the cage is locked tightly. Go down to the 1F. Go to room 300. Eve's thoughts, go to room 3. Go. Eve's thoughts, I ended up in the ward. The 5 beds are arranged in 2 rows. Judging by the scratches on the floor, there was recently a 6th bed. Eve's thoughts, a square steel plate is screwed onto the wall. Eve's thoughts, on one of the droppers was a white piece of paper. Eve's thoughts, we were 6 in all. Scorpio, Pisces, Aries, Gemini, Cancer, and Taurus. Eve's thoughts, but one of us is gone. They said that he gone himself, they lie. Eve's thoughts, the 6th was taken into the secret ward on the 3rd floor. Now he will never return to us, never. Death came for him, torment. Go to room 300. Eve's thoughts, there. Eve's thoughts, go to room Eve's thoughts, 3 large washing machine were working. Eve's thoughts, I stopped the washing machine and opened the door. Notifications, you have found handgun. Eve's thoughts, I stopped the washing machine and opened the door. Eve's thoughts, inside were bundles of bloody linen. Eve's thoughts, there is nothing else inside. Eve's thoughts, I stopped the washing machine and opened the door. Notifications, you have found the storeroom key. Go down to the 1F. Eve's thoughts, I began to carefully descend. Go up to 3F. Eve's thoughts, examine. Go. Eve's thoughts, skip. Go to Eve's thoughts, I found myself inside the catering unit. Eve's thoughts, everything around was covered in blood. Eve's thoughts, an eerie sound came from the refrigerator. Eve's thoughts, Someone is inside. Eve's thoughts. Open the Eve's thoughts. I approached the refrigerator and threw open the doors. There was an eerie sound again. Several tentacles quickly crawled out of the refrigerator and wrapped around Eve's body. The girl's broken body was thrown against the far. Notifications. You are dead. Load slot 5. Load slot. Load slot. Load slot. Go to room. Go. Eve's thoughts. Go. Eve. Leave. Eve's thoughts. I decided not to go down. Go. Eve's thoughts. The office is locked with it. Go. Eve's thoughts. At least. Eve's thoughts. On the windowsill was a blue turtle plaque. Eve's thoughts. I don't think I should take this item with me. Eve's thoughts. Something was sticking out of the hole in the iron pipe on the right side. Eve's thoughts. I put my hand inside. Notifications. You have found a first aid kit. Go to director office. Go. Eve's thoughts. Skipping. Go. Eve's thoughts. The director's office is locked with key. Go down to the basement. Eve's thoughts. I began to carefully descend into the basement. Go to store. Eve's thoughts. The store. Go to morgue. Eve's thoughts. I went into a square room. There were 6 gurneys with the dead in the morgue. There was a symbol on the wall that looked like the Star of David. Leave. In Eve's thoughts, the sign said, Eve's thoughts, Pisces closer to the Star of David. Eve's thoughts, I am a Scorpio. Leave. Go to more, go, Eve's thoughts, go to male toilet. Go, Eve's thoughts, go to room linen room. Eve's skip. Go to room linen, go down, skipping. Go, skipping. Go, skipping, go to director office. Go down to, go, skip, go to skip, go to room 300 and, go, Eve's thoughts, I already took the storeroom key. Eve's thoughts, Eve's thoughts, there is, leave. Go down to the, Eve's thoughts. Go down to the base, Eve's thoughts. Go, Eve's thoughts, videotape won't help me at all in a place like this. Notifications, you have found a singing key. Go to, Eve's thoughts. Go up, Eve's thoughts. Go to mail, go up to 3F. Go to Eve's thoughts. Go to Eve's thoughts. Go to director. Go Eve's thoughts. Go to room 300 and go to room 303. Eve's go to Eve's thought. Eve's thoughts. Go to room 300. Skipping. Eve's thoughts. I used the singing key and opened the rusty door. Notifications. You have found the doctor's office key. Go Eve's thoughts. Go down. Go Eve's thoughts. A Polaroid photograph. Eve's thoughts. Nude female body and lettering. Cause of death. Overdose. Eve's thoughts. On one of the rusty racks lay a folded sheet of paper with some kind of drawing and half-readable text. Eve's thoughts. I found the password. I got everything. Cancer, Aries, Taurus, Pisces, Gemini. Eve's thoughts. Oh yes, I got everything. Eve's thoughts. Wall with Star of David and wall with square plate match each other. A big secret not to tell anyone, not to te. Eve's thoughts. Further text is not readable. Eve's go Eve's thoughts. A poll. Skip. Go to Go to director. Go to male toilet. Skipping. Go. Skip. Go to room 3. Go down to the one. Go. Skipping. Skipping. Eve's thoughts. The lock opened. I went inside the room. Eve's thoughts. There was a bed in the middle of the room. An old woman was lying on a dirty mattress, covered with a blanket. Eve's thoughts, I noticed with horror that her eyes were gouged out. Eve's thoughts, is she? Eve's thoughts, on the chair lay the familiar key to the director's office. Notifications, you have found director office key. Eve's thoughts, I was about to leave, when suddenly, old lady, oh God, from the side of the bed came a quiet, barely audible voice. Old lady, I can hear. Old lady, there's someone here. Old lady, come closer, child. Do not be afraid. Old lady, I will not harm you. I am completely immobilized. Old lady, my miserable existence is supported by this dropper. Eve, what? What happened to you? Old lady, oh, my child, I can hear from your voice that you have a kind heart. Old lady, I can't be here anymore. Old lady, I cannot bear the torment. Can't stand the experiments anymore. Old lady, I beg you, help me. Old lady, end it all. Old lady, end it all right now. The woman sobbed mournfully. Streams of fresh blood poured from her mutilated eye sockets. Eve's thoughts, what should I do? Pull out the dropper. Eve's thoughts, I hesitated for a moment, then took a step forward and Eve's thoughts, the patient stopped breathing. Eve's thoughts, and suddenly, the skin fell cracking from the woman's face. Her body thrashed in violent convulsions. The blanket began to move. Dozens of disgusting spiders began to get out. Eve's thoughts, moments later, the hospital bed became Eve's thoughts. Spiders ate the flesh of a paralyzed woman. Eve's thoughts, in horror, I jumped out the room and slammed the door. Go, Eve's thoughts. Go, Eve's thoughts. Eve's thoughts, the director's office. Eve's thoughts, except for the iron grate at the end of the room. Eve's thoughts, between the forged rods, the outline of a staircase was guessed. Eve's thoughts, secret entrance to the basement. Eve's thoughts, I threw back the grate and went inside. Eve's thoughts, at the last moment, I glanced up. Eve's thoughts, God, Eve, where are you going? The girl took a deep breath. Eve's thoughts, I must move on. The solution is close, I can feel it. Eve's spirit was filled with determination. Notifications, it is Eve's thoughts, I went down an endlessly long staircase and found myself in pitch darkness. Save slot 5. Save. Eve's thoughts, an orange dot flashed somewhere ahead. Eve's thoughts, as I got closer and closer, I noticed a blur of light and Jeremy Jackair, does not work. Nothing works. Eve's thoughts, he didn't seem to notice me. Jeremy Jackair, everything went according to plan. Strictly according to plan. White Schism. Obsidian Goblet. Book of the Crimson Ceremony. Jeremy Jackair, but nothing works. Doesn't work at all. Jeremy Jackair, this island. In the middle of Toluca Lake. It does not exist. Jeremy Jackair, it does not exist. Jeremy Jackair, God, what am I to do? What am I to do? Jeremy Jackair, what? Eve's thoughts, shaking with sobs, Jeremy clutched his head. His left hand was hidden in shadow. Jeremy Jackair, oh, Jeremy Jackair, it's you again. The man turned his gaze towards Eve. Jeremy Jackair, have you come to mock me? Jeremy Jackair, make fun of me? Jeremy Jackair, I immediately assumed you were kind of bitch. Eve, Jeremy. What have you done? What have you done? Eve, I know about your brother's death. Jeremy Jackair, brother. Yes, brother. Vincente. My brother, Jeremy Jackair. Eve, I didn't want to do this. I swear, Jeremy Jackair, every evening, falling asleep, I saw him lying in the grave. Lonely, frozen with cold, in a terrible wooden box. How awful and unfair it is. Jeremy Jackair, I didn't mean. I just couldn't. Eve, oh my God. Jeremy, what have you done? The man took a few steps in the center of the light source. Eve's thoughts, his left arm was wrapped in some kind of leather strap. And at the other end, Eve's thoughts, a mutilated, rotten corpse trailed after Jeremy. The end of the strap was tied to the broken neck. Shocked Eve covered her mouth with hands. Jeremy Jackair, my poor Vincente. It was very cold there. I didn't want to leave him alone. Jeremy Jackair, now we are always together. Jeremy Jackair, we are always with each other. Jeremy Jackair, but the damn island is missing. It doesn't exist. The acrobat suddenly burst out laughing. Jeremy Jackair, you condemn me. Jeremy Jackair, I see, you condemn me. Jeremy Jackair, so funny. Jeremy Jackair, tell me about something. Eve, Jeremy Jackair, what is the size of the strangulation groove after suffocation? Jeremy Jackair, rumors say that you are the pro in this. Eve, how dare you? Eve's thoughts, the iron floor trembled under my feet. Eve's thoughts, before I could make a sound, I fell into the bottomless darkness. Eve's thoughts, I refused to look ahead, but my eyes mechanically registered a terrible picture. Eve's thoughts, Jeremy and Vincente's bodies began to deform, blood flew in all directions. Eve's thoughts, huge spider legs began to burst from the flesh of the acrobat. Jeremy Jackair, it's time for the final show. Take your seats. HP, 30, save slot 5, save, HP, 37, 2, 5, 22, HP, first, HP, save slot 1, HP, 9, use weapon, shot, axe, rifle, HP, 90, HP, 90, HP, 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 61, HP, 61, HP, 28, 1, self-voicing disabled. Self-voicing enabled. Eve's thoughts, I jumped closer and stuck the blade of the knife into the acrobat's throat. Jeremy Jacquer, Eve. With each breath, blood spilled from Jeremy's throat. Jeremy Jacquer, if you want to get to the amusement park, follow the light of lighthouse. The man twitched in convulsions and after a while calmed down. Eve's thoughts, I came to my senses. Eve's thoughts, suddenly I heard the demanding cry of the baby. Again. Eve's thoughts, hands shaking and wet with blood, I took the plastic doll out of my pocket. Eve, no, no. It can't. Eve's thoughts, a doll with the Adam's name was wrapped in a bloody umbilical cord. Eve's thoughts, the baby's face was blue-gray. Eve's thoughts, he clearly died of suffocation. Eve, no. It is not true. Eve's thoughts, the nurse's voice from the payphone sounded in my head. Head nurse, this is a legible hospital. Head nurse Foster is calling. Congratulations. You have monochorionic monoamniotic twins. It is necessary to contact Dr. Shi for consultation. Head nurse, I repeat. It is necessary to contact Dr. Shi for consultation. This is urgent. Eve, big brother, what have I done? Eve collapsed to her knees in powerless despair. Eve's thoughts, siren sounds. Eve's thoughts, why can't I hear the siren sound? Eve's thoughts, I am still inside the bloody hell. Eve's thoughts, what if I'm stuck here forever? Eve thoughtlessly walked forward along the endless corridor of darkness. Eve, what is this? Eve, is this the light of the lighthouse that Jeremy spoke of? The girl changed direction and began to walk towards the light. Eve's thoughts, soon the outlines of metal structures flashed in the distance. Eve's thoughts, I couldn't believe my eyes. Eve's thoughts, it seems the amusement park is close by. Eve's thoughts, I finally reached my goal. Eve's thoughts, Lakeside Amusement Park is in front of. Eve's thoughts, the entrance is blocked by bloody wires. Eve's thoughts, having cut my palms, with an effort I managed to bend one of the corners of the obstacle and crawl inside. Eve's thoughts, surely there will be blood poisoning. A sluggish thought flashed in my head. Eve's thoughts, I walked through the park, staring at the rides frozen in silent anticipation. Eve's thoughts, there is dead silence in this place. It will never again be filled with happy children's voices, loud laughter, and the smells of cotton candy and popcorn cooking. Eve's thoughts, this whole town is dead, long dead. Eve's thoughts, I got to the ice cream stand and collapsed on the bench in exhaustion. Eve's thoughts, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a sign posted to the wall. Eve's thoughts, attention attention. Lakeside Amusement Park will be closed for renovation on March 1 st. Eve's thoughts, a large-scale expansion of the amusement park and a complete overhaul of existing routes are planned. Eve's thoughts, please be patient. We look forward to welcoming you and your children to the newly renovated Lakeside Amusement Park. Eve, the park. It has been closed for reconstruction for 3 months already, Eve, but this means that Zofia and I could not receive an invitation here. Eve began to slap her pockets in confusion. The gold coupon disappeared without a trace. Eve, and yet what the hell is going on here? Eve's thoughts, and suddenly I heard the demanding cry of the baby. Again. Eve's thoughts, as it turned out, I squeezed the doll in my hands for some time in a row. Eve's thoughts, the toy looked intact, the umbilical cord was gone. Eve's thoughts, the plastic is cracked in the middle. I picked out the pieces and saw something inside the toy. Eve's thoughts, it looks like it's a printout from some website. Eve's thoughts, abstract. This work is devoted to the study of the correlation dependence of a person's sex and arachnophobia. Eve's thoughts, in the other, women from the same age category. Experimental studies show the prevailing presence of pronounced arachnophobia in the male experimental group, 90% in relation to 40% in the female one. Eve's thoughts, also, the study of the response of arachnids to human sex hormones was carried out. It was concluded that male sex hormones, namely androstenediol, testosterone, and dihydrotestosterone, cause increased interest in arachnids. Eve's thoughts, we dare to conclude that arachnids are more likely to attack males Homo sapiens. Eve's thoughts, below was a bar of text. Eve's thoughts, the paper was rejected for publication in our journal. The reason is the refusal in all 3 cases of blind reviewing. The authors of the study should send it for revision. The broken doll and pieces of paper fell from Eve's hands. Eve's thoughts, my God, Adam is in danger. Spiders in this town. Eve's thoughts, I need to find him now. Eve's thoughts, I rushed forward. Eve's spirit was filled with determination. Notifications, it is recommended to save the game. Eve's thoughts, seeing the Ferris wheel from afar, I immediately noticed the figure of my brother. Eve's thoughts, my brother stood silently right in front of me. His face was hidden in shadow. Eve, Adam, Eve's voice trembled treacherously. Eve, big brother. I found you. Eve, you have no idea what I went through. Eve, you. What are you doing in this town? Adam, I was waiting for you. Adam, Eve. You know that you are guilty. Eve, I don't. Adam, in turn, am guilty before you two, little sis. Adam, unfortunately, now you have to make a choice. Eve, what choice? Adam, take out the dagger of Melchior. Eve obediently pulled the blade out. Adam, if you really killed me, do it again and thrust the dagger into my flesh. Adam, if you are tired and do not want to fight anymore, turn the dagger towards you and make a hit. Adam, I will accept any of your outcomes, little sis. Tears sparkled in the guy's eyes. Adam, our souls will be saved. I promise you. Eve's thoughts, my heart began to beat faster from the tension. Hell. Save slot 4, save. Kill. Eve's thoughts, I closed my eyes and made a sharp stab with dagger. Eve's thoughts, I was covered with many small pieces of glass. Eve's thoughts, I realized that in front of me was a giant 2-meter mirror, which shattered from the blow of the dagger. Eve's thoughts, dozens of small mirrors gathered in the shape of a sum symbol. Eve's thoughts, there was an arrow on the floor pointing somewhere ahead. Eve's thoughts, throwing the useless weapon to the floor, I walked in the direction indicated. Eve's thoughts, soon I saw a staircase leading down somewhere. Eve's thoughts, without a hesitation, I grabbed the rusty rungs. Eve's thoughts, I found myself inside the sewer, knee-deep in musty, cold. Eve's thoughts, some time later, I got out onto a dry surface. Eve's thoughts, there was a hole in the center of the corridor, in the middle of which a corpse was suspended by wire. Eve's thoughts, I carefully, moving along the wall, passed by and opened the door with a sign "Keep out." Eve's thoughts, ahead was a dead end. Eve's thoughts, the small room was littered with boxes and crates. Eve's thoughts, not knowing what to do next, I went to the nearest box and wiped the dust off it. Eve's thoughts, Cedar Grove Sanitarium Archive, a faded inscription flashed across. Eve's thoughts, I think I read about it. The documents that survived the fire were to be sent to the public archive. Eve's thoughts, I dug inside the box, and, not finding anything interesting, I wanted to close it, when suddenly my heart twitched. Eve's thoughts, I saw a familiar name. Eve's thoughts, I pulled out some kind of diary with a burnt edge and began to read. Eve's thoughts, looks like psychiatrist notes. Eve's thoughts, January 10th. The new patient, Eve Coleman, was admitted today in a state of extreme stress. The chief physician at Portland Hospital has decided to transport Miss Coleman to Cedar Grove Sanitarium as soon as possible. Eve's thoughts, the patient ended up under my patronage, although I must admit that such a case has arisen for the first time in many years of my practice. Miss Coleman completed her gender reassignment surgery a few weeks ago. Eve's thoughts, judging by the records provided, the patient successfully passed all tests, analyses and conversations with a psychologist, before going under the surgeon's knife. Miss Coleman's past name is Adam. Any mention of this name enrages the patient, which is mentioned in report. Eve's thoughts, January 13th. Miss Coleman has another relapse. She shouted about the blissful cleansing by fire of the parental home and attacked the orderly Stewie. The patient was placed in a punishment cell under constant observation. Eve's thoughts, January 19th. Miss Coleman monotonously tries to harm her body by banging her head against the walls. Every night she screams nothing happened and they keep eating me from inside. Eve's thoughts, February 3rd. Miss Coleman repeated the attack on the orderly. She managed to wound him with a fragment of glass which was found and hidden in an unknown place. In agreement with the head physician, we increased the dose of neuroleptics. Eve's thoughts, February 10th. Miss Coleman denies any existence of a person named Adam. The patient claims to be the only child of his parents. Eve's thoughts, February 19th. Miss Coleman unexpectedly confesses to the murder of her twin brother. The patient is certain that Adam was strangled by her umbilical cord during childbirth. Such an unpleasant incident is quite rare, although it is possible in obstetric practice. Eve's thoughts, March 15th. Miss Coleman is in a state of extreme excitement. The patient asks the police to start looking for her missing brother Adam, 19 years old. Aggressive behavior. Doesn't make contact. Unsuccessful suicide attempt. Eve's thoughts, March 22nd. Miss Coleman is looking at the ceiling and talking to someone. Constantly asks them to leave. Another failed suicide attempt. Eve's thoughts, March 29th. Miss Coleman obediently sits locked up and unquestioningly fulfills all the requirements of the medical staff. A slight smile plays on the patient's lips. She's clearly plotting something. Strengthening control. Eve's thoughts, April 16th. Eve's thoughts. Eve's thoughts. Eve's thoughts. It is impossible to read further. Remaining pages died in the fire. Eve's thoughts. A rectangular piece of thick paper slipped between the pages and found itself on the floor. Eve lifted it up. Eve's thoughts. I stared in amazement at my own photograph. Eve pulled a photograph of Adam from her pocket. Eve, it's over. Eve, I found Adam. Eve, I found myself. Tears poured from the girl's eyes. Eve's thoughts. I climbed out. Eve's thoughts. The fog swirled through the deserted street. Eve cast a worried look up into the sky. Eve's thoughts, spiders. They are no more. The girl smiled faintly. Eve, my soul is purified.